YouTube. What's good, guys? It's your boy T, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And tonight's live is Fantasy Football After Dark, and it's a Q&A. And I have 5 players that I'm going to break down for one segment. And also, guys, I'm going to get to everybody comment like I always do. Me and Harambe. How you doing, Harambe?
What up, bro? Happy Saturday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also, guys, I'm going to be breaking down a couple players. I got 5 players in each position that I'm going to talk about. So, guys, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. I said what I said. This is cutting edge content. So, Harambe, anything you want to talk about? I know we was talking about the guy that lost his life today. You want to expand on that, bro?
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, rookie cornerback, I believe, for the Vikings, died in a DUI with, I believe, 2 of his high school buddies. DUI-related crash today. And speculating it was...
Hey, bro, it's some background white noise. Do you hear that? I can't hear you.
I hear it.
I can't hear you.
Back out and then come back in.
Who, me? Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, try that. Yeah, go in and come back. Right. All right, guys. So I heard about a cornerback from Minnesota. Unplug the mic. Right. Okay, he's coming back in. All right, there you go, bro.
What was that?
I have no clue.
It sounded like someone was rustling through papers and everything or something.
Right. It sounded like some white noise, like some type of movie or something.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Crush. Yeah, that was weird. I heard it on my end, and then it was like a delayed video. So like you would talk and then freeze up, and I would hear it. It was weird.
Right.
Anyway, back on topic. The rookie who lost his life in a car crash with 2 of his, I believe one was a college friend and one was a high school friend.
Right.
They were going very, very fast in a car, very late at night, and they all lost their lives. They think alcohol was related, maybe other stuff too. So I got that news today, and it sucks. Like that kind of stuff happens all the time. We hear about certain instances because this is a rookie in the NFL. He was a college star. He's well known, especially in sports media. So it's like a breaking news story. It's unfortunate, man. And when I hear stories like this, I think of maybe a lot of these athletes were, I don't want to say like sheltered, but they didn't get to experience stuff because they were working on football and academics so much. So they didn't get to go like let it loose, pause like we did in high school and college and whatnot. And then they go out and, they live fast, and then these problems or accidents happen. It's super unfortunate. That's all it is. I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for the other guys, their families. I feel bad for, the Vikings. That's a family too. That was a family he got basically adopted into, right? So like, they didn't all probably know him yet too well, but I'm sure he was developing relationships with some of his teammates and the coaches, and that's especially going into camp and then into a into a new year, like that's
Right.
going to be hard and taxing on that team. So
Right.
it's unfortunate, man. What do you think?
I always say give these guys grace. Even Rashee Rice, I was talking about giving him grace. As a Dallas Cowboy fan, Eric Williams. Even going back to, I think his name was Mark Rivera, the defensive tackle from Detroit. Reason why, guys, when guys are young, you have a lot of testosterone. Your testosterone levels are high, and you just do things that we, as people who not making that type of money, we think that's dumb and ignorant. But these guys are young and they want to live life. So right now, if any of us hit the lottery, when we get that money, we don't know what our next move is going to be. So I would just say, man, I just want to pray for his family. Hope everything is good. Hope people can move forward. Life comes. I don't mean that in any bad way, but life comes and goes, man, and it happens a lot. It does. It happens even outside of sports. So I don't want to act like it matters more because it happened to an NFL football team or NFL football player. But yeah, it happens, man. So hopefully everything is going to be okay with the family, and Minnesota can bounce back.
Yeah, and what I'd like to see is the team kind of rally around that and kind of unite a little bit and go play for them. And I'm not expecting the Vikings to go to the playoffs or the Super Bowl or anything, but maybe they have a good season. Maybe they knock some teams out of the playoffs or something, or set some records, or just make it some sort of a memorable year for that loss.
Facts. Okay, let me see, man. Let me look to see if there's any news. If this can work. Sometimes it won't let me log on to this right away. Okay, yeah, it worked. Okay. So let me read this news out. So this is what it's saying. His name was Khyree Jaxon. Dies in auto accident. It says Jaxon, 24, died Friday in an automobile accident in Maryland. The Portland Organia report. So I guess it happened in Portland. I'm a loss for words. This is in quotations. My heart goes out to the Kyree's family, friends, teammates, and coaches, said Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connor. Jaxon was killed along with former Dr. Henry Wise Jr. high school teammates, Anthony Lighton Jr. and Isaiah Hayes, according to the report. Jaxon was Minnesota's fourth-round pick in 2024 after playing in Oregon. At Oregon. So yeah, hopefully everybody's going to be okay with that. All right, let's talk about some news with Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Dak Prescott, guys that are targeting CeeDee Lamb and the Dallas Cowboys. It says Prescott was spotted Thursday wearing a protective boot. We talked about that I think on a couple lives ago. Wearing a protective boot on his right foot due to a sprain. But the injury isn't considered serious. Calvin Watkins of the Dallas Morning News reports the Cowboys wrapped up the final practice of mandatory minicamp on June 5th, which was roughly 1 month ago. And Prescott was reportedly been wearing the protective boot for about only a week. So it remains unclear how he suffered the injury. In report of NFL Network confirms that the injury is considered minor, so it doesn't seem like the franchise quarterback foot sprain is much risk of impacting his ability for the start of training camp on July 25th. So that's the main thing. It seems like he's going to be okay. They're just taking precautions. Now heading into his age 32 season, he's 32. Dallas and Prescott have yet to come to terms on a new contract extension and remain scheduled for a $55.46 million cap hit in 2024. That's a lot of money. If I was Dallas, I would not give him any more money. I would let him play out his contract. That's just me. Maybe some people disagree. Meanwhile, star wideout CeeDee Lamb could be a candidate to hold out from training camp if he doesn't receive a new contract of his own. I'm not giving CeeDee Lamb more money than Justin Jefferson. I'm willing to go up there near Justin Jefferson and give him some bonuses that he can earn over Justin Jefferson, but I can't pay him more than Justin Jefferson. So first question I want to ask you, bro, do you think they should resign Dak Prescott to a new deal, the Dallas Cowboys?
Nope.
Why not?
I think he's going to ask for too much for what he is. Dak hasn't won a Super Bowl. He hasn't been to an NFC title game, I believe. Like, you correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's been to an NFC title game.
No, hasn't. Nope.
I'm building around CeeDee Lamb. I'm building around the defense. And I'm probably going to do what the Cowboys did, years ago when they had that famed O-line. Like, any running back was a stud on the Cowboys. So
Right.
it's not like a rebuild, in my opinion, but I think if you sign Dak, then you got to sign CD. You're going to be out of money to like put some core pieces in on the O-line and the D-line. So if it's me, I probably wouldn't sign him for what he's asking or what he might be asking, after the season. If he takes them to the NFC title game, I would probably find a way to pay him because you got something going there and you got a pretty young team.
Right.
So it's like a prove it thing for me for Dak, and Dak he's been like an okay real life quarterback. At times he's been elite, but he's better for fantasy.
Right.
That's just my 2 cents.
What about CeeDee Lamb? Would you pay CeeDee Lamb more money than Justin Jefferson? I think that's what he's asking for.
I would.
Right.
I think CeeDee Lamb is that upper echelon tier 1 type of receiver. He's up there with he's not as good as Tyreek Hill. He's not, like, he might not even be as steady as Amon-Ra St. Brown, but he's young. Like, you want to build a team around him. He's an explosive wide receiver. There are other wide receivers. A few of them are up and coming. Brandon Cooks is going to be gone. They're going to need a running back too eventually. So there's other areas of need. And I think, like, what you think might happen, I think the quarterback that you want to go there would be way better for their future and for the business, the team from a business standpoint.
Facts.
So I'd let Dak probably play it out. And if he can get to the title game, we could talk. But as of now, I wouldn't. But Jerry Jones is nuts, man. You know that as a Cowboys fan.
Right. I love Jerry.
I do too.
I agree with Jerry on a lot of stuff. Even some of the things that he has been wrong on, I understood it. Yeah. I can't play CeeDee Lamb Justin Jefferson money. You haven't put up the stats that Justin Jefferson has. Yeah, you have played. I mean, Justin Jefferson ain't just did it with Kirk Cousins. He did it with lesser tier guys also. Yep. So I would say right around Justin Jetta money, but not more than. That's just my 2 cents.
Maybe just short a little bit.
Who?
Just a little bit less than what they
paid. That's a little bit less.
Yeah, I can't argue that. Right. I can't argue with that, man. Like, you're right. Jetta has the receipts with, maybe lesser quarterbacks. But to me, we saw what CD could do last year. And if you actually look at his stats the prior years, he's been explosive at times, just not consistent. So if he's the alpha, I think he could put up numbers like that.
Facts. I believe in CD. I think CD is an elite wide receiver. But it's all about, like, who's up. That's why Tyreek Hill want more money. He can't let Amon-Ra make more money than him. Now, Tyreek won't get a 4-year deal because he's 30. But he can re-sign for 2-year deals.
Right.
And so every year you're just gonna have to do what they did to D-Hop back in the day. Or Julio. Every time somebody start making more money, they restructure their deal. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see here. Let's talk about Tanks Bigsby. They said that Tanks Bigsby, guys, is improving after his rookie year, which he fumbled a lot. So would you fade Travis Etienne with this information, or are you still taking Travis Etienne at his ADP?
What's his ADP, like mid to late second?
Go into the third round.
I think mid-third is probably where I would take him. Be okay taking him. Travis Etienne was a top 2 running back for the first 2 quadrants, I want to say, last year.
Who? Travis Etienne? Yeah, he was like, wasn't he number 1, maybe?
I think he was number 1 maybe the first 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes.
And he had multiple touchdown games, like boom games, and he kind of is a
runs.
Yeah, and he kind of is a workhorse if you think about it. He's like the poor man's workhorse in the NFL, right?
Right.
And he carries some PPR value. And with Ridley going, I think they try to go back to basics and try to recapture the passing game they had 2 years ago, where they went to the playoffs and came back on the Chargers.
Facts.
I probably wouldn't take Etienne in the second, but like early to mid third, I'd feel okay with it.
Right.
And he's a surefire RB1 on a fantasy squad. I
Right.
wouldn't doubt that.
Right. So I'm still taking Travis Etienne in the mid to late third round. No matter what they say about Tank Bigsby, I do think Tank Bigsby will come in and get some carries just to keep Travis Etienne fresh. You don't want to run Travis Etienne in the ground. He is a little bit volatile, but he's very explosive. So I'm willing to deal. I'm not worried about value with Travis Etienne. I'm actually worried about explosiveness, and maybe that could be a video that I can do. Guys that don't need value, because they're so explosive. So I like Travis Etienne. Okay, bro. So let's get into a different segment. Do you want to do some comments a little bit since we only got a few guys in here and then go on, or do you want to go ahead and keep it moving since it is a Q&A?
Yeah,
let's move on to the content.
Let's catch up on the comments where they're at, and then we'll get into the content. I could run down the comments real quick if you want.
Go ahead, bro.
Roll, what up? Welcome. He said my Glock 17 BB gun broke. Every time you shoot it, the barrel falls off. Dude, yeah, man, you gotta be careful with that. That's cheap plastic. And shoot your eye out, right?
Right. Also,
what up,
you don't
Big
want nobody
Will?
to think that's a real gun, because them guns you got, they look real.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, man. I love guns. I love pew-pews. So like, I'm not gonna say anything else. You just got to be careful and disciplined, even if it's a toy, man. Even the toy is dangerous. You could pop your eye out. Pause.
Right.
Big Will, what's up, bro? Hector, what's up? Thanks for being here, you guys. Thanks for being here. Crash, unplug the mic. Thanks, man. If we have audio issues, you guys, or anything, let us know. That helps us out. So sometimes we might not hear an issue and you might hear it on your end. So when you guys let us know that stuff, it helps. So we appreciate that.
Facts.
LL Cool Toys said gay. No.
Yes. Right. Be careful reading out the comments, because we don't want to get our video flagged.
Yeah. True.
Right.
Drizzle Toes.
Appreciate you being here, LL Cool J.
Drizzle Toes and garlic oil. I will not do that. No way. No. Ed Tay, what's up? What's going on, bro? Thanks for being here. Stephen G. Willikers, what's up, bro? He said, I believe Dak is good to go as the boot is precautionary and often.
Right.
I think it's just a media story.
Right.
I think someone saw him in a boot and kind of blew it out of proportion a little bit.
Right. The thing with me, I'm not going to sign Dak. And yes, I'm a little bit biased. I do want Shadir Sanders to go there. And I'm okay with Trey Lance. Listen, I like Trey Lance, but he's not better than Shadir Sanders. So if we don't get Shadir Sanders, I'm okay with maybe giving Trey Lance a shot. But that's rough. To get rid of Dak, who been to the playoffs, and give it to Trey, maybe for the price tag, if we can go and pick up a great free agent in the offseason and make our team better, I'm willing to do that. But if we kind of just get rid of Dak and go to Trey, and Trey's not ready, it's going to set our franchise back maybe 3 years. So I would say, I hate to say it, I love Trey. I've been on Trey. I think Trey got a bad rap. He didn't get an opportunity like he should have as a young quarterback. But if we can get Shadir Sanders, I would rather us do that. And that's how I feel about Dak, man. I'm okay with Dak, but he's status quo. If he can take a team discount, I'm willing to go with him. But if he can't take a team discount, then I want us to move on.
I think he's going to go to like the Raiders or something, man. Some weird team.
There you go. I think he would be great for the Raiders, bro.
I agree.
That's a great take right there, Romby.
I think he would. I think Dak's a good quarterback. It's just like you don't pay a guy and set, the bank back years to pay a guy who hasn't really gotten them over the hump. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right. Isaac, what's up, man? I hope you're feeling good with your operation. Stephen G. Wilkers said, at least I hope. So he's talking about Dak, as I have the number 2 pick in Harambe's redraft league. He's going to take CeeDee Lamb. Maybe, allegedly. And then Isaac said, Dak couldn't get it done. Peace. And then they might give Trey Lance a shot. Yeah, so Isaac's kind of touching up on what you're talking about. And I think that's the right approach, man.
Right.
Because he's there, like, might as well. He was a high draft pick.
Right. But like again, if Shadir comes there, it's over for Trey.
I agree. I just think it gives you more options if you don't pay Dak.
I do too. And you can build your team up, like you said, and make it a stronger team.
Facts. Get the likes up for the HBO special. Help a brother out, you guys.
Help a brother out. Guys, that's not mine. I'm not going to take that phrase. I got that phrase from somebody let me know in the comment section. I forgot the name of the channel. But he says that. Help a brother out. HBO special. Appreciate it, guys. Get the likes up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new.
If you guys don't know how to
subscribe also to Harambe's channel. Harambe has Harambe's World.
Harambe's World. I do I'll be doing fantasy content, comedy stuff, music stuff, things like that. To like the video, guys, you see 3 dots up in the corner. You just tap it. You should see the thumbs up. Help a brother out. Crush said Etienne was less efficient this past season, so not too excited about him. Dude, he killed it in the first 2 quadrants, and then he got hurt. So yeah. I think to me, he's like maybe a slight fade because of his injury, and I don't think they want to like just run the shit out of the ball, and get him re-injured. I think they want to try to like a wild card spot, get to the playoffs, maybe challenge for the division, stuff like that. So you got to keep that guy healthy.
Right.
Ed confirmed the sound in the video is good. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed Tay.
Shador Sanders. Okay, I see you. Zach has a tomato question to start off. I'm going to go down to Lonely Bee's comment, and then we'll get into the content. But
gotcha.
Tomato teaser question, Devonta Smith or DK Metcalf?
That's a good one. That's a real good one because it depends on. So first I'm going to start off. I'm not going to cheat the question, but I always like, if I like boom guys, but I'm not going to take a boom guy over a guy who I believe is consistent and got some boom upside. Maybe not as much as DK. I'm going to have to go with Devonta Smith because of the offense. I trust his quarterback a little bit more than Geno. So I'm going to go with Devonta Smith over DK. But it's tough. I love DK. I love the boom. He can win you a week by himself. Devonta's not really going to go for 40 points or 50 points, but he can be more consistent with 15 points almost every week maybe.
Yeah. I could see that. I actually would disagree. I think I would go with DK. He's going a little bit later than Smith.
Right.
The new OC there is going to be very pass happy, and they're going to want to bounce back from last year. So that's the wide receiver 1 on the Seahawks. I would rather have him than the wide receiver 2 on the Eagles because they also brought in Barkley, who I think will take some PPR value away from those receivers. I think DK is AJ Brown 3 rounds later. That's what he is to me. He's that kind of receiver. Right. So I'd feel safer taking DK later because Smith is going ahead of him in mock drafts. So I might fade Smith. I would still love to have Devonta Smith on my team, but like I think I would take, if I had the option between the 2, I would take DK.
Right. Okay.
And then Lonely B, what's up, man? Like and subscribe. A good fit for Dak would be Pittsburgh or the Jets. Yeah.
Right. If Russell, last name Wilson, if he don't work out, then I do believe Dak will be good for Pittsburgh.
I agree, man. That I think you would do well on the Jets too. Just some weird ass team like that,
Right.
And then Etienne is a smaller guy. Pause. Most got all the goal line.
Right.
Pause. Most got all the goal line last year. I don't expect him to get it this year. And then Crush just said, just really depends on his snap percentage this year. Rather have Henry over him. And he's talking about Etienne. Me too, man.
But you can get both. You could get both I think you could get both in some drafts.
I think you probably could too. I'd rather have Henry too. I think Henry's going to have a monster touchdown here this year.
Facts.
That's it, man. We're caught up on the comments for now.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and do tomato, or you want to start breaking down some of the players that we have?
Let's do we'll do the tomato, and then that'll allow people to say, who they pick, and then we can get on your topic. Pause.
Okay.
All right. So Saturday, second edition of Tomato. Question for you, TD and audience. You can put your answers in the chat. Tank Dell or Jaylen Waddle?
I'm going with Jaylen Waddle over Tank Dell. The reason why, because I want that Miami offense. So I want Tyreek and Jaylen Waddle, but I don't want Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs. So I would be fine with either one, but I want Jaylen Waddle. I think that offense, both offenses is going to be elite, but I think Waddle is going to be a little bit more consistent than Tank Dell. Could Tank Dell take over this team? It's possible, but if Nico stays healthy and Stephon stays healthy, he's going to have some off weeks because they're going to be spreading the ball around. I believe Jaylen Waddle is going to have a chance to score every week because people are going to try to take away Tyreek. There's only two good wide receivers in Miami. It's Tyreek and Waddle. Odell is there, but I think he's just there just as another guy. So I would go with Waddle, man.
Yeah, Waddle in the second round.
Yes, going with Waddle in the second round.
What happens if you can't get your cheetah? Are you still taking Waddle?
No, I'm not taking Waddle at that point in
time. Yeah, I would feel good taking either player. Tank is intriguing because he has massive boom upside. He could be the wide receiver 2 or the one on that team.
Right.
We don't really know, but he's also a cheaper ADP, so I could see why some people might take Tank and fade Waddle. I'd probably go Waddle as well. Next one, Jameson Williams or Brian Thomas Jr.?
So I don't want to talk a lot about Brian Thomas because I got something special for my members that I want to do. So guys, make sure you sign up as a member. Also sign up for the Discord because I got something for you for Brian. So that's all I'm gonna say. But I will answer this question. It's Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay, and we'll just leave it at that. And I agree with you 100%. I'm not interested in Jameson Williams. He's the 5th option in the passing game, 4th option.
Right. I'm good. I'm good with him being a stash, but not over Brian Thomas Jr.
I agree with you. I think in the pecking order, and we'll leave it at we'll stop after this. But in the pecking order, I think Brian Thomas will already be higher than what JMO is coming out of the gate this year.
Right.
All right, third one. Zach Moss on the Bengals or Brian Robinson Jr. on the Commanders?
Brian Robinson Jr., that's easy. I know Zach Moss played really well last year, had a great season, got himself a new deal, but I'm going with Brian Robinson, man, because I've seen him run between the tackles. He's a good player. And Austin Eckler, we know that he can't handle a heavy workload, pause. So I'm willing to go with Brian Thomas for the goal line carries. I believe that he could have 10 rushing touchdowns this year. So I'm saying Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian
Robinson. Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Brian
Robinson Jr. Yeah. So even last year, he was a value pick. Like he put up some decent numbers most of the year with Antonio Gibson there, and he was the goal line back. Their offense, in my opinion, will be better this year. They'll be coached better, and they'll have more efficient of an offense, and that would only help, a traditional style running back like Brian Robinson Jr. And he has some PPR value.
Right.
And if you take that guy, he's going to have most of the goal line already. And knock on wood, we don't want it to happen. But that other running back they just signed, he's a little bit older and he's been nicked up in the past a little bit. So I don't think they're going to overwork Eckler. They're going to go with the young guy and just run the ball with Robinson. So I agree with you, man. It's a good tomato scenario, but I like Robinson's upside with the rookie quarterback and the new OC there. So I would agree with you on that one.
Right.
I'd rather have like Robinson and then maybe take Chase Brown.
Right. Me too. Great tomato question. Great tomato.
This one's tricky. I don't know how I'm going to answer it yet. I'm going to have to speculate. Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff?
See, yeah, you playing. Why you playing with me like that, Robbie? You playing with my emotions.
I'm playing brain chess, bro.
Just really. This is tough. I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford. And the reason why I'm going with Matthew Stafford is Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, to me, is the heartbeat of this team, even though Amon-Ra St. Brown, to me, is one of the top players on this team, probably the best player on the team. It's close. Jahmyr Gibbs is very talented, but I would say Amon-Ra. But to me, what the head coach for the Detroit Lions, what do you want to do? I think he wants to establish the run game. to me, with the Los Angeles Rams, I think they want to just beat you, and I think they're going to pass the ball a little bit more than the Detroit Lions. Kyron Williams will be getting value, and also Blake Corum, but I believe that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp would get more targets than Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams and LaPorta. So I'm going with the pass heavy offense. If you go back and look at Matthew Stafford passing attempts per game, I think he was number one per game because he got hurt. So per game, I think Matthew Stafford was number one.
I agree with you, bro. So I think the running game on the Lions is better. The running back 2 is established, and he could be a running back 1 on another team. David Montgomery was a running back 1. You're going to have a healthy Cooper Kupp. You're going to have a further developing Puka Nacua.
Right.
You'll have Kyron. And then you have Matthew Stafford. In my opinion, in the last 10 plus 15 years of NFL football, he's probably the most underrated quarterback in the game.
Right.
This guy he's a dog, man. He is a beast, and he can beat you the same way over and over and over again. And he's proven it. He was on the Lions with Calvin Johnson. They set records together. If he was on a different team, maybe a more established defense, a better offense all around him, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if he has 3 or 4 Super Bowl rings. He's got 1.
Right.
And he's going to want to win another one. And
right.
if this team's healthy with an underrated defense and the great coaching schemes that they already have, they'll be in line to be an NFC title threat. They're a dark horse Super Bowl threat for sure.
Right. And I'm going to say 2 things. Don't be surprised if you see Detroit and the Los Angeles Rams playing for the NFC Championship. Secondly, I believe that one of the best trades that ever happened in the history of the NFL game was Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. Jared Goff wasn't the type of quarterback that Matthew Stafford is, so he needed to be in a run predominantly tough team. And I believe Matthew Stafford needed to be released. He didn't need to play in control. He needed a great offensive coordinator like Sean McVay to take his game to the next level. And I thought it was great for both teams and great for both quarterbacks. So both of these guys are great. I don't think you can go wrong, but I'm going with the guys who are going to have more passing attempts in this tomato question.
I want to see Stafford on the Lions now. With all those weapons, right. he would dice people up. So
right.
But yeah, man, he's a great match with McVay's system, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go to the NFC title game this year. Not at all. Not at all. That was a tricky one, man.
Yeah, that was a great one.
All right. This one could be a little tricky. I think this one would be divided. I think some people will go with the tomato and some will go with the tomato.
Okay.
And that is DJ Moore or Christian Kirk.
I'm going with DJ Moore. Now, listen, he does have a rookie quarterback, but I still think he's extremely talented. And I think when you get the ball to DJ Moore, his yak is one of the best in the league. So I think he's going to be able to break tackles and still give you some big plays. I just don't think he's going to be consistent. Could Christian Kirk have a couple more catches than DJ Moore? Maybe get a couple more targets than DJ Moore? Maybe. But I don't think he's the boom player that DJ Moore is. I don't think he's as athletic as DJ Moore is.
I'm going with DJ Moore as well because you got Rome Odunze there. He's an unproven rookie. He has massive upside. You have Keenan Allen there, who is – do you think Keenan's a Hall of Famer?
No.
I don't either.
No.
I don't either. He's a stud. He's a fantasy stud. He's good at football. He's a great possession receiver. He's a great route runner with good hands. Pause. He's not going to finish the season, dude. He's not. So he's going to be coming off the field at opportune times where you need to capitalize and get those fantasy points, and it's going to piss you off. So if Rome doesn't develop into something and Keenan gets hurt or just busts in Chicago, pause, DJ Moore's there. DJ Moore proved last year he could do it with Justin Fields. DJ Moore proved he could do it in Carolina with some bum-ass quarterbacks, right?
Right.
Some massive explosive plays. His numbers weren't there the whole year, but he's got the juice, right?
Yes, of course. You
So
see, he had a couple games where he went for 40-point, 50-point,
yes, he
40
did.
point, 50-point.
He did, man. And I think with Caleb, they'll be probably chasing points and slinging the ball all over the place. And I think the number one receiver on the Bears is DJ Moore.
Right. I do.
And
I'm going to keep saying he's the number one. I just don't think his target share is going to be that high, but he is the number one.
he carries the boom over Keenan for me. And then Kirk has, he has injury problems. He's not your prototypical wide receiver one. Although he used to put up some nice numbers a couple years back, in Arizona and then in Jacksonville, and he got hurt.
Back.
Does your choice have anything to do with Brian Thomas Jr. being in Jacksonville? No,
it's just DJ Moore is such a talented guy that I can't put Christian Kirk above him. Even if Brian Thomas wasn't there and it was still Calvin Ridley, I still wouldn't put anybody over DJ Moore. It would take a truly a good alpha with consistent targets for me to put him over DJ Moore.
Would you feel good if DJ Moore was your wide receiver one, but you had like legit running back core? No.
I'm gonna do the Forrest Gump. The Forrest Gump. No, before you even finish. Mama said, no. I'm not taking DJ Moore as my number one wide receiver. I want DJ Moore as my number 3 wide receiver.
There you go. Not even as a wide receiver two with stacked running backs. No.
No, I mean, yeah, it depends on who my stack running backs is. I mean, if I have to draft it as my wide receiver 2, and I got Bijan and Breach, and I don't know, man. I'm just guessing, man. I don't know who another Derrick Henry or Devon A-Chain or something like that. Those 3 or Saquon Barkley, those 3 studs. Yeah, I'm okay with. I don't care who my wide receiver. I take Tim Patrick.
Facts. Yeah, man. I agree with you on that too. I think DJ Moore will just build off what he did last year, because I do think Justin Fields was a decent quarterback in fantasy, obviously with the rushing upside, and he was okay at times in real life too. Like he diced up some defenses over some of those weeks, right?
Right.
So I'm excited to see what DJ Moore does with Caleb, essentially. But I'm not drafting him as a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 2 either.
Right.
But that's it, man. That's all my tomato questions.
Great, man. That was fun, man. Listen, man, we're gonna have to find some more ways to do tomatoes, man. Maybe I do some videos. That's a great segment, man. I forgot who recommended that segment.
I think it was. I want to say it was Zach.
Was it Zach Seaman?
I think it was Zach.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but
that was a great recommendation. But I loved it, man. So, guys, I got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 players that I want to talk about. So every fantasy football after dark that I'm doing, I'm gonna have 6 players that I'm gonna talk about and just break down their scenarios and talk to Rami about them, and he's gonna give me any suggestions or any breakdowns that he have. And also, guys, if y'all have any comments, y'all let me know. If you have any comments about any of these players, you let me know. We will get to all of your comments. Again, if you super chat, we'll read your comment out immediately. If not, we will get to everybody's comments. So be patient, guys. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to get to everybody's comment. This is cutting edge content. Okay. So the first guy I want to talk about is the quarterback, and it's Deshaun Watson. Now listen, Deshaun Watson, to me, even though he had a shoulder injury last year, I think he still is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in a vacuum. Has he put up the stats? No. Do I think Cleveland Browns made a great decision by paying him all that money guaranteed? Yes, no matter what happens, because you have to go and try to win. That's why that team is playing good, because they know the owner want to win. They know the coaches want to win. But if you're going out and you don't want to pay nobody, it's going to trickle down your team. So sometimes you might miss, but that's okay. That's okay. So, but anyway, getting back to Deshaun Watson, guys, Deshaun Watson is elite. I'm taking him at his ADP because it doesn't matter what happens. If he's a bust, move on, and you got Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels or Jared Goff or Matthew Stafford. It doesn't matter. So his ADP is one of the best value for quarterbacks this year. I'm taking him. He got really good weapons. He got David Njoku. He has Amari Cooper. He has also a great offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, play action system. And I also think those guys got to get on the same page. They need to sit down and talk. Sometimes Kevin sounds to me like he's hating on Deshaun, that, we gave this guy all this money. He's not playing good in this system. Y'all got to sit down and work it out. You got to sit down and work it out. So I'm riding with Deshaun Watson. To me, guys, if I could stack my team with a Tyreek Hill, a Derrick Henry, let's see, Devontae Smith, Trey McBride, I don't know, a couple other elite guys, and then wait late into like the 9th or 10th round to go get Deshaun Watson. I think that's a fantastic strategy. And I believe with all the quarterback depth that you have this year, you can pivot if he doesn't work out. How do you feel about Deshaun Watson this year, bro?
As long as his calcium levels have leveled out and where they need to be from prior activities in the offseason, I love his ADP, man. I think a lot of GMs are fading Watson. Just going to not even think about it and fade him. I bet he won't even be drafted in some leagues. Like, that's how bad I think people are going to fade him this year, maybe in like newer leagues.
Right.
Guys, Deshaun Watson was, when he was with the Texans, he was an elite quarterback one. He would
number one quarterback
sling the ball down the field to D-Hop, to Will Fuller. He would scramble for 30, 40-yard touchdowns.
Kiki, do you love me?
Kiki,
do you love me? That boy
Cooties.
had Kiki QT out there balling. Kiki, do you love me?
Kiki Cooties was getting touchdown passes from Watson. He changed teams. He got injured. He had some, issues tugging at him, pause in the offseason, right?
Right.
That's gone now. Last year, he was injured at times, and he never found his footing, in my opinion. Never got a chance to, get his feet under him, get used to playing the game again. So he's another year into the system. He's healthy.
Right. Right. Right.
It's definitely worth a gamble, and if you're confident in your drafting skills, I'd take a shot for sure.
Right. Right. I agree. You got to be confident in your drafting skills, but to me, it's a strategy where you can stack your team with killer guys. With other people are going to get quarterbacks, you still getting studded out players where your flexes are going to be better. And a lot of times, guys, when you get in the playoffs, the way you win, you beat somebody in the flex.
Facts.
So if you got a better flex player than they do, guy who's maybe starting to getting hyper targeted or getting a lot of carries, and he got a guy who is sometime in he's boom or bust, you can beat him. So to me, drafting Deshaun Watson is going to make you better in the flexes because you're going to be drafting running backs, wide receivers, and waiting late to get the quarterback while they drafted Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, those type of guys.
Yeah, man. And I took Mahomes in the second round last year, expecting boom games every week, 30-point floors a week. He sucked. For fantasy, he sucked. Let's be honest.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes, he's one of the greatest players of all time. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's already setting records. I get all that. Right. What I drafted was not what I got, except for against, I believe, the Chargers. He put up 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. It was a 50-point game. That's what I drafted. Right. So if I want a quarterback who's going to be putting up as a floor 16, 17 points, which was Mahomes' floor last year, it was trash. Give me Deshaun Watson way later with rushing upside. And he could disappoint me with a 17-point floor and a potential boom. I'm just saying, man.
I agree with you 100%, bro. Okay. So let's move on to another guy. This is the guy that I think we're going to disagree on. And that's fine.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. But the next guy is going to be Isiah Pacheco. and I'm not drafting Isiah Pacheco. Let me tell you why I'm not drafting Isiah Pacheco. I will trade for Isiah Pacheco when it get cold, but I'm not going to draft him. The reason why, this is a Pat Mahomes team. So I'm going to ask you this, Harambe. For the Tennessee Titans, the last 3 to 4 years, when they got to the green zone, what did they do? What was the first 2 plays probably going to be?
Give it to Derrick Henry.
Okay. So let's go to, I guess we'll go to the Baltimore Ravens. When they got in the green zone, the last 3 to 4 years, on an average, it changed a little bit last year, but on an average, what were they going to do when they got to the green zone?
There was a few more options than the Titans, like Mark Andrews, a possible quarterback rush.
Right.
Give it to the running back.
Right. I would say Lamar Jackson was going to try to find a way to get it in.
Sure.
So I wanted to have Lamar Jackson on my team when Baltimore got in the green zone, because usually he was going to throw for the touchdown or he was going to run it in.
Facts.
Now, let's go to Kansas City. The reason why I don't want Isiah Pacheco, I would consider, and don't go with what I'm saying, I'm trying to paint a picture for you. I would say Pat Mahomes is the goal line back for the Kansas City Chiefs. The reason why, when they get down to the green zone, they want him to throw it in there. They not, come on, Pacheco, running in there. They rarely do that. They'll do it in the playoff game if it's cold. Mm-hmm. But when they get down there, they want Pat Mahomes to throw for 30 for the touchdown, 40 touchdowns, 40 touchdowns. So I don't want Isiah Pacheco. They use him like a side girlfriend. When they lonely at night and they need something, then they call Pacheco. But they don't go and call him, and they not consistent with Pacheco scoring on the green zone. Go back and look at green zone touches from Pacheco. It's one of the lowest touches of any running back in the league. So that's why I'm not touching Isiah Pacheco. But when it get cold and it's time to run the ball, teams are preparing for their passing the schemes, then that's when Isiah Pacheco eats. And that's when I'm willing to have him on my team. But I don't want to wait, because the first quadrant with his draft capital is going to cost you.
Where's he going in mocks? Second round?
No, about third round, fourth round.
I'd feel okay taking Pacheco in the third if I started with 2 wide receivers.
Okay.
Just because of the team he's on. He's going to, like you're saying, Mahomes probably do like a shovel pass or some little flip to Kelsey or whatever to get it in the end zone. Sure. Right. I agree with you. Some of those would go to Pacheco, in my opinion.
Right.
And then he would also have the opportunity to run the ball in at the goal line. Right. I just like him because of the team he's on. Right. I think the passing will be better this year for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
You're not wrong in saying Mahomes is the goal line back, because most of the time he's going to throw it in, so those points will go to him. That is true. I do think they give him more touches than they did last year. I don't think he even ran for 1,000 yards.
Right.
I think that goes up a little, and then I think he retains some of his passing work. I'd be okay landing him in the third as a RB1 just because of the team he's on.
Right.
I expect them to defend their title, try to get that third title in a row.
Right.
And I think he'll get used more. And the backup there, they signed like a bunch of free agents, and then they have CEH, who he can get stuff done if he needs to, but he's not the guy. It's Pacheco. Right. And then I would expect a better passing game, less drops from the receivers, a more explosive passing game. And then I expect Kelsey to do Kelsey stuff, this year, maybe even a little bit more than last year, even though he's a year older. And that will help Pacheco.
Right. So right now, I'm going to Pacheco game log.
Okay.
And I'm about to tell you the fantasy points, and I'm going to full PPR.
Okay.
All right. And so let me find carries, attempts. For week 1, 8 attempts. Now that's a little. Usually they give him the ball a little bit more than that, but he had 8 attempts for 9 points. Third round value. Remember, we're talking about third round value. 12 attempts, 8 points. This week 2, week 3. Week 3, he got 15 attempts, 15 points. So I would say against the Jets, 20 attempts, 24 points, and he had a rushing touchdown. So then I'm going on through other weeks. It's 13, 15, 16. I need 19, 20, 18, 20, 21. So I'm not saying Pacheco is a bad player, but I don't want 13, 15, 16 because you're playing with Kansas City. Now, if you okay with that in the flex, he's killing you. He's killing it. But if you want him to compete against Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley and Devon A-Chain, 13, 15, and 16 is not going to get it. But what we looking at week 8, week 17, he get for 29 points. That's fine. That's good. That's good to have him. But that's not going to be like you expecting him to do that all the time. You know you're going to be upset when Pat Mahomes throws it to Travis Kelce. So that's what I'm saying. It's all about the ADP. If he could go in the 5th and 6th round, I think he would be a great pick. But in the 3rd round, competing against Travis Etienne and those guys, Kyron Williams, I don't know if I want it. But I understand why you may disagree. I think I can get more upside.
And I like, even if I was to draft him in the 3rd or the 4th, I'm not drafting him to be Jamal Charles. I'm not doing that. I want the starting running back of the Chiefs.
Right.
So that would be my mindset. And I do think like their offense was so bad last year. I think it affected Pacheco's numbers. I really do.
That's a good point.
But the points you're making are true, man. And he's not that massive boom guy. If I could get like, I don't know, 80 yards and a tutty and maybe like 3 catches, I'm okay with that. Right. Again, I'm confident in my drafting skills. I could put other studs in the flex. You know what I mean? Right. I had Cooper in the flex. I had Cooper and Pickens. I was smashing people. Right. But I don't like to draft running backs really. So if I go no running back approach and he's there in like late 3rd, 4th, I'd be okay.
Yes. If I got 3 studded wide receivers or 2 studded wide receivers and I went like a hero 0 RB build, that's different. His ADP does account. But if you drafted him to just best player available,
no. All the other running backs, you guys, even going into the 2nd, JT, Kyron Williams, Henry, Barkley, all those guys I'd rather have on my team than Pacheco, 100%.
Right.
Now, say you draft a stud running back and then you got a receiver and then maybe you took Pacheco as an RB2.
Yes.
I'd be cool with that too.
Right. Because you can move him to the flex or you can get another guy off waiver. So you ain't his ADP. It's not affecting. You're not counting on him to be a top 5 running back.
Right.
But for people, they drafted him and talking about him like he's a top 5 guy. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I don't think he's a top 5 guy.
Right.
I think he could definitely be a top 12 guy. Top 10. I think he could sneak into the top 10.
Right. I think he's a fringe top 12 guy. I think he's a fringe on a weekly basis, and I think he can give you some big games when Kansas City comes out and tricks you, and you think they're going to pass, and they run it down your throat. Pause.
Yep. It's facts, man.
Yep. That was a good debate. I know a lot of people have been drafting a lot of Pacheco. Okay. So let's move on to my next guy. This is a wide receiver. This is the number 2 wide receiver on this team, I believe so at this point in time. Some of you may disagree, but it's Jaylen Tolbert from the Dallas Cowboys. So, Harambe, I believe that I'm just going like where people are taking Jameson Williams, I'm taking Jaylen Tolbert around that type of ADP value because I'm not going to draft Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks to me is a straight up fade. Maybe pick him up off the waiver wires if something get going or I'm on a bye week, but I'm not drafting Brandon Cooks this year. I'd rather draft Jaylen Tolbert knowing that, hey, he could be the number 2 and he could be giving me a nice little floor of 10 to 12 points every week. Also, CD Lamb might be holding out. So maybe Jaylen Tolbert guys, because they talking about him that he's having a better count. He does have 2nd round value. So the guy was drafted early because he was one of the top prospects coming out of a small school that left a big school, went to a small school, and he killed like he's supposed to when you go down to another level. So I believe Jaylen Tolbert in his 3rd year could be a breakout with everybody trying to double team CD Lamb and take away Jake Ferguson. How do you feel about Jaylen Tolbert, bro?
Jaylen Tolbert, I have him in Dynasty. I got him for free, 99, $0. I just scooped him on waivers. He had some boom plays last year, like some 40-yard passes, some big chain-moving plays, right? To me, if he gets consistent, what do you think is consistent looks for him? Maybe like 4 to 6 targets a game, something like that?
Yes, maybe more. I mean, it is what you call it, the offensive coordinator is a little bit pass happy. They don't have a true bell cow, so maybe they pass a little bit more. Maybe 6 times as a minimum. Maybe get 6 targets as a minimum per game.
6 to 8 targets a game.
Yeah, 6 to 8. 6 to 8.
If you can get that consistently, and Dak's playing well, and the offense is playing well,
right.
He has massive boom upside. That you're looking at a Walmart Tank Dell, essentially.
Right. I don't know. I wouldn't call him tanky because tanky nice. I would call him more maybe
Walmart, cheaper.
Right. Of course.
One
But
tier lower. A rollback
But
price.
Tank Dell, right. But when you say Tank Dell, man, I want you to be having something there. Jaylen Tolbert ain't showing anything. Tank. When you say Tank Dell, I automatically go up here when you say Tank.
The skill set. His speed and the skill set.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. He's not proven like what Tank did last year, obviously.
Right. But would you say so? How many points you think he can give you a game in fantasy football this year?
As a floor or
as a floor? As a floor.
8 points, 8 to 10 points.
I agree with that, and I think for his value, that's going to be good. He might be more consistent than Jameson Williams.
A good guy to maybe compare him to would be Demarcus Robinson on the Rams. Like
yes, I agree.
Something like that.
I like that.
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I do see he has upside. He's in his 3rd year, which is the traditional wide receiver breakout year, according to the experts.
Right.
They're gonna have to have another guy step up, man.
They are.
I think Jake Ferguson will step up. They're gonna need another guy because like Brandon Cooks is what 30, 31, 32. Yeah.
33?
Yeah, man. So like wheels are gonna fall off soon there. He's still got some pop left.
Right.
He scored. He did pretty well in the 3rd and 4th quadrant last year.
Right.
But for what Cooks did last year, I could see Tolbert doing this year.
Right.
40 points in or 40 yards in a touchdown, 80 yards, 30 yards in a touchdown, stuff like that. So, and you said you would fade J-Mo and then take Tolbert there. I don't even think you have to take Tolbert there, man. You can get him. To me, he's going to be a waiver guy.
You might be right. I don't know how the ADP is going to change, but you're right. I could probably get him off waivers, but I think the ADP might rise up a little bit, and he might start getting drafted at the end. Bro, I'm going to go get my charger. You can maybe get to a couple questions until I come right back.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to start where I left off in the comments. When we were talking about Jalen Water, Tank Dell, Kresh went with Waddle. Isaac Moore went with the Duck. So Waddle. Ed Tay said, I think both players are the same, but like Waddle. I do too, man. I think their skill set, the speed is different. I think the offenses will be pretty legit, probably top 5 offenses. Miami for sure. Houston should be much better. And then if Tank Dell could stay healthy, like a lot of people think that's the wide receiver 1 of the Texans. We don't know. We got to see it. Zach, what's up, Zach? Said Waddle. Yep. BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. Yep. Stephen G. Willikers said Jalen better floor, in my opinion. And I think Waddle has decent upside too. Tank a little more full. Sure. Crash said Brian Thomas Jr. What's up, Theo?
Subscribe to the channel, bro. Good to see you here, Theo.
What's up, Theo? He said, hey, I don't know if anyone is looking for an IDP Dynasty League, but I'm hosting a 16 concept league. Promotion and relegation is the concept.
Sign up for my membership, bro, and I will let you promote your stuff inside my Discord. But I'm not going to promote it on the live. But sign up as a member, and then you get the Discord link, and then you can go and promote it inside my Discord.
All right.
I'm willing to promote anything that anybody wants to promote, but you got to be a member of the channel. I'm not going to promote anything if you're not a member of the channel.
Yep. And then Ed, was just following up on the tomato questions we did. Ed Tay took Brian Thomas Jr. as well. Durf Boy, what's up, bro? What's good, guys? What are your thoughts on Dontavian Wicks?
Too many mouths to feed. I think I like them. Dynasty, I'm stashing them, buying low on them. Maybe wait, because maybe right now might be a little too expensive. Maybe people want 3rd-round picks for them. I think you could get a 4th in a Dynasty startup. But right now, it's too many. In redraft, I'm not taking them. Chris, you got to see if you think Christian Watson can't stay healthy, then I would say get him. But I think Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed is the number 1 target getters on the Green Bay Packers. And then you got 2 tight ends who are really good. And then you got 2 running backs who's going to get targets. So, guys, too many mouths to feed. I think this might be the deepest team in NFL history. I said what I said. The Green Bay Packers might be the deepest team in NFL history.
Super Bowl threat.
Yes, sir.
And then Zach said Brian Thomas Jr., just touching up on the tomato. Charlene asked you, TD, are you ready for Barrel? That's what, Hurricane, I'm guessing?
Who's Hurricane?
I don't know. Just Charlene made a comment. I think she's talking about a hurricane.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't heard anything about it. I don't watch the news.
I don't either.
Maybe, hopefully, everybody's going to be safe. But I haven't saw the news.
Yep. Just be safe and smart. Kresh went with Moss when we were talking about Moss or Robinson Jr.
Okay.
Ed Tay said, I'm taking the number 1 running back in Brian Thomas. Yep. Wait, Brian Robinson, you mean?
Brian Robinson, right.
And then Zach said Brian Robinson as well. Isaac said Moss looked good, but got hurt and farted in the 4th.
Yeah, talking about in the 4th quadrant.
He took a dookie. Theo said, I personally would rather have Eckler if he's a discount. Bro, with the rookie quarterback, it's probably going to be check down city to Eckler. The goal line for Robinson I like, and Robinson does carry PPR value as well. But yeah, like Eckler's being, in my opinion, based on what he's done for fantasy, like he's a fantasy stud. He's being like faded way too far, in my opinion, for Eckler.
Right. I think Brian Thomas is going late too. I think his ADP is really, really late. I think you can get both guys.
You can. That these teams, these bubble teams, most of them have a decent backfield, like decent enough to squeeze. Pause.
Right.
So Bengals, the Commanders, the Giants. And then Stephen G. Wilker said Moss or B-Rob. Give me both their teammates later. So he's talking about Eckler and Chase Brown.
Right.
Isaac said Stafford, so he chose Stafford when we were comparing with Goff. Theo said he thinks both running backs will be good in the Washington offense. Kresh. So some people chose Jared Goff instead of Stafford.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that. I'm not going to debate you. I can't prove a point to take Stafford outside of me just wanting the targets from Matthew Stafford. I think he's going to lead the league in targets or passing.
Yeah. Probable dark horse MVP candidate as well.
Right.
Yep. And then Ed Tay said Goff. He was meaning Goff. Isaac said Goff in real life, Stafford in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty interesting.
Right.
Zach said Goff. Christopher Choi, what's up, bro? Welcome, man. He thinks Puka is going to have a down year. What do you think about that?
I'm totally off of that. Puka has become one of my favorite players. He's not Tyreek, he's not Amara, but he's top 5. I got a crush on Puka Pauls, like far as a fantasy football crush. And I think Puka, man, when I saw him play NBA basketball,
yep,
Woo!
Yeah, that dude
I'm
is an
like,
athlete.
I knew then he is special.
You think he could cook up Bronny James on the court?
Yeah. He's too physical as a grown man right now. But when Bronny get older and get more mature, Bronny's gonna be hell. Bronny's gonna be I could see him being a 17, 18, and 7 guy.
Dude, Puka looked like he could play in like amateur leagues, man.
Him and Michael Parsons.
Yes. Those dudes are freak athletes.
Come on now.
I was very impressed with Puka's ball handling skills. Pause.
I was very I was very impressed with Puka rebounding ability.
His defense, dude. He had a steal, then he went up and slammed it.
Come on, when he slammed it, bro, he ain't never like 6'1", 6'2", bro.
I jumped off my couch. I was going nuts. I was like, oh my God.
I
Do
knew
that
I
in
was
football.
drafting him.
How many points is that worth in fantasy?
I knew I was drafting him. Right.
Yeah, man. Stephen G. Wilker said Puka lost weight, which he did, going to be more explosive. So maybe on those deeper routes.
Right.
What up, Thomas? Are you working right now, man? Thanks for being here, dude. And then Isaac said DJM. DJ Moore. DJ Moore. And then Big Will. You see Big Will's comment right there?
Let me see. Yes.
Do you want to take over from that comment?
Yeah. He says, TD, last season you hit on Tyreek Hill and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Who's your new ride or die wide receiver or running back this upcoming season? Harami, same to you. You want to go first, bro?
My ride or die running back would be Bijan. I would take him in the top 3. I'm that high on Bijan. He's a ride or die candidate. For the wide receiver, man, that's a good question for me. I would say Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I feel like that's a given. That's an easy question. Ride or die wide receiver, maybe that's not being talked about enough, in my opinion, is DK Metcalf.
I would go with Puka Nacua, and I would go with Saquon Barkley. Those are guys that I believe that a lot of people, people are drafting them. They going in the first and second round, but a lot of people don't know what they're going to be. And I believe these guys can be top 5. So I love Puka Nacua and Saquon Barkley. Let me go a little bit deeper, pause. Somebody else. Let's see here. I'm looking. Yeah, man, those are the guys. Those are the guys that I'm willing to go down with the ship all the way. I got a couple other guys, but that's kind of known already. I could throw in James Cook, but I'm not high on him like Saquon, but I do like James Cook this year.
If you have a late pick, like 10, 11, 12, you can probably land Puka and Barkley.
Yes, I agree. That's why I said it. I agree.
I think the fantasy realm is sleeping on DK Metcalf with the new OC a lot.
Right.
I love his.
I know I don't draft DK off of what is around him. I draft him off of his talent and ability. That's why I played him against the Cowboys last year when he went for 50 points.
Yep.
A lot of guys, and so everybody in my comments, they were saying, TD, you playing DK? I said, guys, I got on, I think it was a Thursday night. I said, guys, play DK. They was like, TD, I know you love DK. I said, I do, and I'm playing him. And I had been wrong. I had been telling him to play him all year. Don't bench him. And he hit. Well, did I know he was going to go for 50? No. Was I surprised? No, because I'm going to play DK every time because I know he could go for the point, 50 point, for the point, 50 point, short bus in the back.
You know how fast and powerful DK Metcalf is. Pause. If he gets loose in the secondary and Geno Smith can get him the ball, that's massive boom at a great ADP. And they're going to be pass happy all year long. Give me DK Metcalf. The point? Good question,
Yes,
Big Will.
Okay, bro. Let's get, before we read the rest of the comments out, let's get to these last two guys, and then we'll get to the rest of the comments.
Okay.
Okay. So the next guy's gonna be Pat Freiermuth. Listen, everybody keep talking about George Pickens. I love George Pickens. I think George Pickens is one of the most talented guys that I've ever seen for jump balls. I think he's on the Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson type level. I think he's one of the best one-hand catchers that we ever saw in the NFL, even up there with Randy Moss. Arthur Smith is really good with designing run game. The guy that I trust the most outside of maybe Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, because I don't really trust Russell Wilson. I need to see it first. Not
You don't
Arthur
trust
Smith.
Russell?
Last name Wilson. No, I don't trust him. I don't
I'll
trust
trust
George
him
Pickens. I don't trust any of the passing game right. I need to see it first. But what I do trust is Pat Freiermuth. And the reason why I trust Pat Freiermuth, if you go back and look at Arthur Smith teams, his tight ends are being good. Now, can he use two tight ends? He used Jonnu Smith last year. That was weird. But I like Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth is a good tight end. He's a good blocker, and he also is a good route runner. So I think Pat Freiermuth could be a sleeper. That's why I'm not really drafting guys like Sam Laporta early when you can get so much value at the tight end position late this year. There's a lot of guys at the tight end position that you can get that I think could be a good tight end. Now, they might not have the upside that Laporta has, but can they get you by and you can win a championship with Pat Freiermuth if you have other strong positions? Yes. How you feel about Pat Freiermuth, bro?
I always felt that the tight end on the Steelers was underrated dating back 5 years, right? They're sleeper PPR style tight ends. And what I see happening, like you said, TD, they're going to run the ball with Art Smith. That's his system. Each running back will probably get like 80 attempts per game, right?
Right.
I'm joking. That's a ridiculous number. But if the running game ain't working and they're having problems getting it to George Pickens, it's going to be Freiermuth right there, moving the chains like as a PPR value tight end, 10-yard reception, 15-yard reception, 10-yard reception, touchdown.
Right.
Right. So even with minimal targets in that system, I think he's a great sleeper tight end to take. And even in his early career, he has injury problems now, so keep an eye on that. But he does get peppered with targets. Like even the shitty quarterback play they had last year, they were targeting Freiermuth early and often while he was healthy on the field. Now, if they get the offense working, the running backs are going well, Pickens is getting those explosive touchdowns, Freiermuth could run wild in those intermediate routes. So it's a good game script proof type player you could get very, very late.
Right. So yeah, guys, I think Pat Freiermuth, I will buy low on him in Dynasty right now. Would you buy low on him in Dynasty, bro?
Yeah. I think Dynasty owners of Freiermuth are probably like sick of hanging on to him, and maybe you can trade another lackluster tight end or like a wide receiver 3 you don't need to get him or something like that. Right. He's still young, and if they get the quarterback play going well and established for the next few seasons, he's going to be a part of that offense.
Right. Maybe I don't see as wrong being trading Evan Ingram for Pat Freiermuth in a second or a third.
Yeah. Freiermuth is what, like 26?
23.
Oh, he's young. He's way younger than I thought. Oh, yeah.
He came in with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, he did. And then Ingram is what, 29, I want to say?
28.
28, 29. So he's getting up there. So if you have him in Dynasty, that's a good flip to make. That's a good trade. And they're not going to keep Najee Harris. So they're probably going to keep Jalen, and then they'll keep Pickens. Wilson has another year or two maybe left in the tank. And then the chain mover would be Freiermuth. Who's the wide receiver 2 there?
It's the guy from Michigan.
Yeah.
It's I forgot his name. One of the wide receivers from Michigan.
Is a rookie.
Yeah, it's a rookie.
And they have Calvin Austin too, but Calvin Austin isn't. He's young, but he's not like a consistent guy. He's like
Yeah, he hasn't
he's a
proved to be able to
scheme
run
guy.
the route tree. Yeah, he hasn't proved to be able to run the route tree yet.
Right. So I see another scenario as well. Like if they're feeding Pickens early and often and he's booming, Freiermuth's going to have man coverage, and then you can just exploit that as the
Right.
season goes on.
Right. Roman Wilson, right, Cratch?
Roman Wilson. That's right. I thought the Chargers were going to draft him.
Right.
Who's your next
All
guy,
right.
bro?
So yeah, the last guy is going to be Jaxon Smith-Njigba. So what I want to talk about Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I love DK. I respect Tyler Lockett. I have both of those guys on the same team and Geno. So I have that squeeze. But I believe that Jaxon Smith-Njigba is Amon-Ra St. Brown doppelganger. Not Walmart Amon-Ra, not Target Amon-Ra. I believe doppelganger Amon-Ra. I believe this is the same exact copy of Amon-Ra. He might not be the mental aspect of Amon-Ra, but his ability, the way they run routes, the size of their body, pause, they are the same player. They're the same player. So I'm taking Jaxon Smith-Njigba guys this year at his ADP, which is probably like round 8, round 9. And I'm stashing him as my wide receiver 3 flex play. And I believe as the season goes on, he's going to lead this team in targets. He's going to be getting more targets than DK. DK is the boom guy, 60-yard touchdown. But who's going to get 9 targets, 6 catches for 75 yards?
Yep.
Jaxon Smith-Njigba. And I believe eventually they're going to get rid of Tyler Lockett, and Jaxon Smith-Njigba is going to be the number 2 hyper target guy on this team. DK Metcalf is not going to be getting a lot of 12 catches games, but Jaxon Smith-Njigba will be the guy, especially with the new quarterback. I don't know if Geno's going to be there next year, so whoever they get as quarterback, they're going to be hyper targeting Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Dynasty, he's a great buy low right now. You're not going to get him any more cheaper than he is right now.
That's also a fact. He's going way too late in a redraft, in my opinion. Last year I used him in the title game, and he was one of the few guys who actually did okay. He scored a touchdown, and I think he put up like 11 points, which I didn't get a boom out of it, but like he caught a touchdown, right?
Right.
As you're trying to stack Tyreek Hill and Waddle, I'm trying to stack DK and JSN.
And Fade Tyler?
Correct.
Okay.
I think the boom will be supplied by DK, and then like TD said, the PPR guy, the small route intermediate guy with some occasional boom is going to be JSN. The coach they got, the OC they got, they want to throw it a lot. The OC threw it 61.1% of the time as an employee of the Washington Huskies last year. He's now the OC of the Seahawks. I'm looking for the Seahawks passing game to bounce back this year. That will only benefit DK, developing JSN, and then it'll help Geno rebound. I'm not drafting Geno, but like those 2 wide receivers I'm trying to stack. And it's a very easy, attainable stack, in my opinion. You can get both of those guys easily.
I agree. I might not be stacking them, but I know you can get both of them. Yeah, man. Tyler Lockett makes me nervous because he's like I would call a roach. You can't kill him. You can't get him away, man. He's gonna be there and he's gonna make plays, and he's a really good, talented wide receiver. So, but I think I trust Jaxon Smith-Njigba talent to be good in the 4th quadrant. I think he's gonna be more healthy than Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf going in the 4th quadrant. And I think he can end up being the wide receiver left there healthy for maybe a couple games and end up balling out and being a league-winning wide receiver in the 4th quadrant.
That's why what you just said is why I want to stack. If I take DK, I want to stack with JSN because I want that 1st, 2nd, 3rd quadrant boom from DK. Maybe one of them gets hurt or something, or they start to phase one of them out of the offense.
Right.
And then you put JSN in there, and like you said, he's a doppelganger for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, his rookie year, had a decent floor all year, and he wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't drafted on most redraft teams. And then if you look at his game logs, his last, I want to say, 6 or 7 games,
I
14
remember that.
points, 17, 15, 15, 20, 14. He was a league winner his rookie year. I see JSN doing that this year.
He can do it. He can do it. Amon-Ra, it was actually like 15, 20, 20, 20, 30, 30, 20. Like he went dumb. And I never forget that. I lost to a guy. I had Elijah Mitchell who went off, but he had Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I'm like, man, this rookie can't go off again. He ain't got his starting quarterback. I mean, come on, he can't. They got to know they got to stop him. And the dude went for 28 points in fantasy, and I lost like by 5 or 6 points. And so that's when I started being on, like I watched Amon-Ra. I'm like, guys, this guy's a monster. And everybody, that was because TJ Hawkinson was hurt. And the only reason why Amon-Ra balled out because there wasn't no targets there. I said, okay, keep thinking that. And that's why I hit on Amon-Ra the next year and wasn't nobody else talking about him. They thought it was just a phase.
Fluke. Yeah, like a fluke. Yeah,
Right.
man. And I remember the year he was a rookie, I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he was like, bro, I don't know who to pick up off waivers. I'm like, why don't you look at that guy on the Lions? Look at that game log. And he's like, oh, shit. And he picked him up. And he went on a run at the end of the season. I think he missed the playoffs by like 1 game, but he almost made the playoffs because of that one guy he added to his team.
Right.
I think JSN could do that this year, man.
Right. Okay, man, we can get to some of the questions. You want to start off, and then maybe I finish it up?
Yeah, so I left off right here when Big Will asked us who our ride or die running back wide receiver was.
No. Yeah, Big Will. Yeah, I left off there. Yeah.
Right. So I'll just go down from there, pause.
Okay.
Crash said DJ, which is DJ Moore. Ed Tay likes Christian Kirk over DJ Moore. And I'm not going to argue with that, man. When Christian Kirk is healthy, that's the wide receiver 1 on the Jags. They brought him over from the Cardinals to be the wide receiver 1. The quarterback loves him, the coach loves him, and they know how to scheme him. So I'm not going to hate. Personally, I would take DJ Moore, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk balls out. Charlene also chose Kirk.
Right.
Isaac said Kirk has no boom. I disagree a little bit. He can have boom if he's schemed right, based on the route he's running. But he's not an insanely fast burner. He's not going to be that guy.
Right. I don't think he has the DJ boom, but he can boom.
He can boom. It's just a different kind of boom.
Yes.
And then Charlene said she don't trust the quarterback. She's talking about Caleb Williams.
Right. I think Caleb's going to get better as the season goes on.
I agree.
They better hit on Caleb. If Caleb struggles and they got rid of Justin Fields,
you better let me run the team.
Right.
I'll do it at a massive discount. And I could screw it up just as good. All right. Ed Tay said, I don't like the Bears quarterback at all. Right. So Caleb. And then Isaac said for him, it was tomato. Yeah.
So he like both of them. Great, I guess.
Yeah, man. These questions are meant to be like tricky. They're meant to get you to think and conceptualize why you chose that player. You know, what you like about the offense, what don't you like, and how it affects that player in these tomato questions. Thomas said, Amari Cooper holding out might hurt. I didn't hear nothing about Amari holding out. Are all the wide receivers just going summertime diva mode trying to get that bag?
Right. He going to be okay. He's coming in. They're going to pay him. They're going to give him a 1-year deal. That's how they pay older wide receivers.
Yep. Stephen G. Willikers is very familiar with Amari Cooper. Very familiar with Amari, especially in the playoffs. Charlene said Watson is a mobile quarterback. He is. I don't think he's going to have those like 30, 40-yard rushing touchdowns like he did in Houston, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had like 6 or 7 rushing touchdowns from the goal line. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
He's still a good athlete.
Last I checked, their stud running backs hurt too.
Right. That's why I believe they're going to pass the ball a little bit more this year.
Yep. Kiki Drake lost.
Kiki, do you love me?
Kiki Cootie. Charlene said, Watson and Fuller gave me 95 points in one game. Yes. My sister would draft Wilson when he was on the Seahawks every year. She just liked his fantasy output. And then she started drafting Watson when he came into the league. Dude, Watson was putting up 30 to 40-point games every single week.
Yes.
And then Fuller had, I think, a game where he caught like 3 huge touchdowns.
Right. I remember.
And I think,
yeah, he was killing the Seattle Seahawks when they had the Legion of Boom.
That's right. That's right. And that might be the game Charlene's talking about. I remember a few games where, like, Fuller was a top 5 receiver, and then he got hurt. Fuller was like,
or it was the steroid season. He also missed that steroid season.
Oh, he did. He didn't miss the steroids, but he missed the season.
Right, right.
Isaac stretching the flex. Stephen G. Willikers, TD is ready for winter out the gate. So when you're talking about the snow and Isiah Pacheco,
right.
So he's giving you a compliment saying you already know about winter time.
Right. He says, TD, we ready for winter out the gate. Nobody trading Pacheco when it gets cold, my man. Draft him late second, early third with confidence. I agree with that, but you got to look at opportunity cost. If you get Pacheco, I'm going to hold you accountable, not because Pacheco's not a bad pick, but if he's going around the ADP with guys like, let's say, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, I would rather have those guys. Now, if Pacheco goes out here and he's getting consistent goal line carries, say Kansas City going to a phase where, listen, we ain't trying to get Pat Mahomes a bunch of touchdowns, then you might be right. But the reason why I believe they still going to do that because they went and drafted Xavier Worthy when they could have got an offensive lineman or a cornerback or something. So I still think Pat Mahomes is going to try to get cute in the green zone, and he's going to be the goal line guy. And listen, I usually want to say this for my members, but I'm going to say this right now. When you look at teams, you need to know who the green zone guys. Because now you might say, well, that's easy. That's the running back. No. Each team they do certain schemes when they get down into the green zone. And when Kansas City get down into the green zone, Pat Mahomes about to do something and score a touchdown.
And who does he usually throw it to?
Travis Kelce or some random ass wide receiver.
What about Kafradius?
He can give it to Kadarius.
Kafradius Jabroni.
He might flick it to him. He gonna flick it to him for that little easy pass touchdown. You know how they
flick
it?
You better catch it.
Right.
You better catch it. He's got the droppies.
Mr. Hanky.
Mr. Hanky.
Hey, what's up, Rock Out? Appreciate that, bro. He says, I like JD5 more than Caleb Williams. Bro, that's what people are. He's trending. JD5 is going before Caleb Williams now. Hey, I feel maybe people are on to something. They say JD5 looks great at camp. They say Caleb Williams struggled a little bit in camp. So who knows?
I'm a fan of LSU quarterbacks, bro.
Yeah.
And that one runs.
To me, it ain't about the school. It's the talent. But they've been talented the last couple of years.
And JD runs, man. Like, he's got upside with his legs, right?
Right.
And there's no tape on him. So, like, the schemes are going to be rolling out on the Commanders. They're pretty stacked in the wide receiver room. They got a rookie tight end. They have a rookie quarterback. They have stud running backs. They have a good coach.
Right.
They have a great coach, in my opinion. And if they could play defense and give that offense more opportunities, they might surprise in real life and in fantasy.
Right. I won't be surprised.
I wouldn't either.
On how JD5, if he has like a I would say upper echelon year, then yeah. But I think he could be above average. I think he could be the best rookie quarterback. I don't think he's gonna have a CJ Stroud year though. Do you think he has a CJ Stroud? Okay.
No. I see him having like a. This is weird, but like maybe similar to what RG3 did his rookie year.
Woo! That's almost better than CJ Stroud.
I see a lot of running coming from JD, and I see accuracy downfield passes to Dotson and also to Scary Terry.
Right. Okay.
We'll see. Maybe a little side bet.
Right. I ain't gonna bet on JD5. I'm not betting against him.
I wouldn't. And then Kretsch said after that comment, Pacheco in the third is pretty expensive. A lot of better options. Yeah, I would take Pacheco after like Etienne and all those other running backs we were talking about in the second. So I got a tomato for you.
Mm-hmm.
MHJ or Pacheco?
MHJ easy.
Interesting. I would take MHJ too. And then Stephen G. Wilker said he will return that value. McKinnon is gone like Harambe's hair. What, this, bro? This right here? Takes a lot of work to do this. Charlene said, now Mahomes plays just enough to win and nothing more, right? So I was talking with my buddies actually on the 4th of July. We expect CJ Stroud to put up insane numbers this year, right?
Right.
Now, do you think Patrick Mahomes, being the competitor he is, doesn't want to maybe pace or match those numbers or even beat those numbers? Do you think he wants CJ Stroud to come in and steal his thunder?
No, I think when it get closer to playoffs, I think Isiah Pacheco is going to be a top 5 running back in the fourth quadrant. He's going to be a great running back. But in the first and second quadrant, I think he might be a little bit outside the top 12. I think he could be top 16. I think Pat Mahomes is going to get cute early in the season. But as they get later in the season, they can say, you know what? We want to protect Pat. We want to protect Travis. Isiah Pacheco take us to the playoffs. Lead us in there where we're going to keep winning the games, but we're not going to do nothing crazy.
Right.
That's what I think.
He runs like a man possessed by demons.
Right.
Stephen G. Williker said, the Checo disrespect hurts. BRB, I'm telling Tech 9. Oh, he's clowning tonight, TD.
I see him.
That's funny, man. Hector A said, deep sleeper Ryan Florney. I picked him up in Dynasty for free. I have CeeDee Lamb, so I'm just stacking the Cowboys wide receivers in case one of them balls out. I'm not going to start any of them except for CD, but I'm going to have them so no one else gets them.
There you go. You said it. That's what I'm doing.
Yep. Yeah. Good call, Hector. We'll touch on that as the season goes, man. Someone's got to step up there, TD. Someone's got to step up, not named Jake Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb.
I agree.
Is Gallup still there too with Dallas? Isaac Gallup is a Raider.
I think so. I think it's a Raider.
I think the Raiders
signed him no more.
Yeah, he ain't on the Cowboys. I always wanted Gallup to become a decent wide receiver. I thought he had some good moments in the NFL.
The injury cost him.
Yeah. And then Charlene agreed. She likes the rookie Ryan Florney as well. Okay, so Hector confirmed Isaac. No, Gallup is on the Raiders now. Okay.
Right.
And then Charlene said Javonte Turpin. So you like Turpin or do you like Tolbert?
I like Tolbert way better.
He's a kickoff return guy, right? Turpin?
Right. That's the only value he's going to get. So in my leagues, y'all see I got that best ball league. I do kickoff return and punt return yards. A lot of people don't like that. I want all facets of the game. So I'm going with Tolbert, but I do like Turpin as a kick returner. Yep. We got a super chat. Thank you, Rock Out. Appreciate you, bro. He says, I like Olave, but can't take him in a second. I agree. I like what you said. That's what I feel like my boy Ro, he misunderstand me. I like Olave, but I don't like him as no alpha. Like, I'm not taking him up there in the first and second round. Here's a great tomato right here for everybody. Michael Pittman or Chris Olave? Who you taking, Harambe?
Do I have to?
Yes, sir.
Pittman.
Okay.
I want to see the upside with AR being healthy and getting, Walmart, Amon-Ra some 10 plus targets a game.
Right. Isaac says Pittman. Who that dude says Olave. Zach says Pittman. All right, that was a great tomato. I gotta find a section. Maybe I'm gonna do a poll, and I'll be able to post a poll every now and then and put tomato, and just have y'all vote on the tomatoes, and just do that. I mean, this is a great segment. I gotta find how to squeeze, no pun intended, all the tomato juice out of this tomato segment. I love it. This is great.
You want to make some marinara sauce, is what you're saying.
Come on now.
That's right.
Or some ketchup.
All right. Charlene said, I drafted on the NFL channel fantasy. I quickly picked up Jerome Ford in the last round.
Woo!
Yeah, you stole him.
Yes, you did. Charlene, great job.
Probably the starting running back.
Charlene, man. I want to get in the league with Charlene.
That's probably the starting running back of the Browns.
Right.
Good job, Charlene. Zach gave us ride or die wide receivers, Puka and Zay Flowers. Both great picks. And then his running backs, Bijan and Brees. Dude.
I love
Bijan.
Zay might have been a guy that I left off. I love Zay Flowers this year. I think he has the potential to be a top 5 wide receiver.
Don't say that with Stephen G. Willikers still in here. I don't know if he's gone. I don't know if he fell asleep yet. Okay. We'll keep going. Yeah, man. I traded for Zay last year in the 4th quadrant. I used him the last 3 weeks of the season into the playoffs, and he killed it.
Right.
I traded Pickens, got me some Zay. And then Pat 23 ? Oh, Kenny was asking about Pat Freiermuth. What's up, Kenny?
Yeah, he's 23, bro. I think he's 23, 24. He ain't old at all.
If he's that age, that's a few years younger than what I thought. So yeah, that's crazy. Kresh said Roman Wilson, so that was the Michigan receiver. What's up, Master Samurai? You know him?
Yes, I do. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you being here. Yes, sir.
What's up, man? What McConkey's story? So I think he's asking, what do we think about Lad McConkey?
Draft him because of the opportunity and the targets he's going to get. I call him Walmart Cooper Cup.
Yep. I'm trying to strategize a way to maybe get him as my wide receiver 4, like as a flex. That's a killer flex.
Right.
Charlene said, I had to play against a team who had Jamal Charles in my playoffs. Yikes. Jamal Charles scored 5 TDs plus yards. I lost that playoff game. Things happen. That had to have been against the Raiders. Do you remember that game?
Yes.
Do you remember the Doug Martin Raiders game? Do you remember that game?
No, I don't.
Dude, Doug Martin scored, I want to say 5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns, but had 230 all-purpose yards against the Raiders, and he put up like 70 points.
Woo!
I was losing. I remember because I had him on my team. I was losing badly. I turned the TV off. I went outside. I went for a walk, and I came back, and I looked at my phone. I was like, holy shit. I never saw anything like that. That'll always be
right. What's up, bro? Glad to see you here. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, man. This is cutting edge content.
So when we were talking about the Seahawks, he said, why is everyone acting like Tyler Lockett doesn't exist? And
I agree with that. He's so good, man. They gave him a new deal this year. It ain't a big deal. It was a 1-year deal, but they paying him because they know what type of player he is.
He missed 1 game in 8 seasons.
Yep, he got all this calcium.
Strong bones. Pause.
Right.
Yeah, Jacob, I agree, man. I like the upside with DK and JSN with the new passing scheme and the new OC, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lockett does what he does. 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Right?
Right.
Zach said he has a tomato for us, TD. He said JSN or Brian Thomas Jr. That's a good one.
That's a great one. I'm going with Brian Thomas Jr.
If I can't get DK, I'm going Brian Thomas Jr. If I can't get DK, I want to stack with JSN.
Right. I'm going with Brian Thomas Jr. for beginning of the season. I believe he has a quicker way to start balling out, but JSN could ball out early too. But it's just too many mouths to feed right now with Tyler Lockett for me to go pick JSN over Brian Thomas.
I hear you, man. Those are valid points. JSN or Keon Coleman, that's a really good one. I probably go Keon Coleman personally. Because to me, Keon Coleman's a guy they'll use probably right out of the gate. Not a lot, but like he'll be on the field right out of the gate. What do you
I
think
hate
about
to
that
say
one?
it, but I would probably go with Keon Coleman for the same reason why I'm going with Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the Bills offense more than the Jags, so that's why I went with Keon Coleman over Brian Thomas. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Thomas is a league winning wide receiver 1. Could be a second round pick next year.
I got a video coming for my members. I got something coming for you. I wanted to, it's gonna be a special video. Make sure you sign up as a member and sign up for the Discord.
Is the video specifically on Brian Thomas Jr.? Ooh, spicy. I can't wait. Nice, man. Isaac, thank you, man. We love doing this. He said, great night live, guys. Great job, TD. Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you coming here, man.
Yep, every time. Zach, another tomato. Tajay Spears or Austin Eckler?
I'm going with Tajay. I think Tajay is going to lead this backfield. He put Derrick Henry. He outsnapped Derrick Henry a couple games.
He did.
And he also was good running the ball too. It wasn't just in the passing game. So I'm going with Tajay. But he does have to beat out Tony Pollard. And if Tony Pollard plays like he did 2 years ago, Tony Pollard probably gonna be like more like a 50-50 or 60-40. Both guys are good to me if Tony Pollard can go back to 2 years ago.
Tajay also was overthrown several times on big boom chunk plays last year. So
come on, man. You got great memory, bro. I remember that now.
I think it was against, I want to say, the Saints. Tannehill. I think it was Tannehill. He did like a RB wheel route.
Right.
And he overthrew him. And if he would have hit him, it would have been I think it was like a 70-yard touchdown. Like it was a big play.
Right.
So that would have added to his hype, going into this year if maybe they had better quarterback play. In my opinion, Tajay is more of a physical running back than Austin. Not to say Austin's not a physical player, but they're different style running backs. Like Tajay could go between the tackles. Eckler's not really that guy anymore in his career. He's more of a check down screen pass guy, in my opinion, or maybe like tossing plays. You toss it, run to the right, run to the left, stuff like that. So, I would, man, that one's pretty tough for me. I think I want to go with Tajay as well because Tony's first year is this year and Austin's first year is this year in Washington. So Tajay already has starting experience on the team he's on. And he's familiar with the offense and the line and everything. So I would go with Tajay for that reason alone.
Okay.
And probably more goal line too than Austin.
Yeah,
Eckler.
I agree.
And then Zach has another one. He's chucking tomatoes at us, TD. He's got Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson.
I'm going with Lamar.
Yep. I'm going with Lamar. Lamar's my favorite player. I'm biased. His upside is insane. And you made a point on a video, I think last week, TD, his floor. Like when these QBs are having a terrible week, his floor, because of his running upside, is like, say he has a shit week and it's 11 points, right? And you're like, damn, dude, Lamar, what are you doing, bro? And then say you had, I think the guy you used was Brock Purdy. And his floor, he had a 5-point week. Give me the 11 points over the 5 points, man.
Right.
Now,
and that actually wasn't a video I did last week. That was a video that I did early this summer, maybe early, like in February.
I remember
after the Super Bowl.
That point.
Yeah, right. And I agree with you, bro.
And not to say Hurts isn't going to return rushing value, but they brought in Saquon. And yes, Baltimore brought in Derrick Henry, but they need to
Lamar's gonna
keep
be throwing the
Jalen
ball this year too. Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely.
right. And I think I personally think Lamar's a better. I'm gonna probably get a little bit of hate for this, but I think he's a better throwing quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
I agree. Facts.
Lamar Jackson is something special, man. So Hurts is special too, but the Ravens are going to be a tough out this year. Lonely B. Christian Kirk is a value pick every year. He's a good boring pick. I agree. And that's why I put him in this tomato segment, because you make that pick, and even when you do, you don't really want to make that pick, but you do it because you know he's a safe player in that scheme. It's a boring pick, and every week when he's healthy, his floor is 10 points,
Right.
10 to 12 points with touchdown upside. Zach throwing another tomato. He said Trey Benson or Blake Corum.
I'm going with Trey Benson.
I'm going with Trey Benson as well. I think he's a better talent coming out of college than Blake Corum is. I think he has a better skill set. I think the Rams will be better than the Cardinals, and Blake Corum will get used. But I also think the Cardinals will be a bubble team, maybe challenging for that last wild card spot. Maybe.
Right.
I think they're going to want to see what they have. So if it gets late in the season and the Cardinals are out of it, they're not going to run James Conner. They're going to let the rookie go. And James Conner could get hurt too. He got injury problems as well.
Right. And I do think, even when James Conner been balling, they always have subbed them out with another running back, even though James Conner got the honey touches. So I believe Trey Benson is going to get at least 10 to 12 touches a game from the beginning. I don't know if Blake Corum's going to get 10 to 12 from the beginning.
Yeah, that's a really I think some people would choose Blake Corum as well, because McVay's system never features the same stud running back in back-to-back years unless it's Todd Gurley.
Facts.
So some people might be off Trey Benson and be like, well, Blake could be a league-winning running back, and he could be. Trey could be that guy too.
Right.
I just like the skill set and the talent a little bit better with Trey Benson. Isaac said, I'm the one who started tomato. Oh, okay. So
okay. Good.
Thanks
good
for
shit.
clearing that up, Isaac. I knew it was one of you guys gave that badass idea several weeks ago on the live. And then Zach said Nick Bolton or Quay Walker.
I'm going with Quay. He's more dynamic. He can guard tight ends. He can blitz. He also can get 10 sacks. Nick, just a really good linebacker who gets to the ball. I think Quay can play all different positions and can line up anywhere.
I think they're both insanely good defensive players. I think if Nick Bolton was on a different team, he probably wouldn't return the same defensive statistics, right? Because the Chiefs are a great defense. They're, in my opinion, they're an underrated defense. Like, people kind of fade them behind like Baltimore and like maybe, Dallas, San Francisco. But the Chiefs are a great real life and fantasy defense, especially like third quadrant and on.
Yes.
They get it rolling. Kenny said, I think Zamir White is definitely going to surprise a lot of people this year. I said it first.
Yes. We love Zamir White here. Zamir White, he's one of the best value picks in the whole draft this year.
Yeah, man. He's going 6th round, maybe even into the 7th round on some mock drafts. And if you go 0 RB and you land that guy as an RB2 or an RB1, you're doing pretty well.
Right.
I love Zamir as an RB2. I think he's like the perfect RB2. And then Rock Out, thanks for the super chat. Likes JD5 over Caleb, so do I. Ramondre is great value for RB2, says who dat dude and me.
Great, fantastic value.
I got him in Dynasty, man. I'm a Ramondre guy for sure. And then who dat said for the rookie of the year, I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
That makes sense. It's gonna be.
That
makes sense because he got a lot of good weapons. He's a running quarterback. He has that upside. I can't argue with you there.
I'm gonna agree with the comment right after that. Kresh said it's gonna be Maserati Marv. So I think it'll be one of those two guys, or you could throw Caleb in there as well. But I have JD5 over Caleb right now, just from what I'm hearing from camp.
Right.
He seems like he's locked in. And then Zach said, last year when I was interning strength and conditioning coach, he trained Brevin Easton, who's a rookie Jags wide receiver, and Julian Hicks, a rookie Packers wide receiver. These receivers are good. So if you didn't know, TD Zach is in he's in like sports med, like sports physical work with like athletes and up and coming people. He went to school for it.
Okay. I hear you, Zach.
Yeah.
That's why you know the game so much.
Yeah. Pretty impressive stuff, Zach. And then Rock Out again with the second super chat. Very appreciated, Rock Out. I like Olave, but can't take him in the second. No way, dude. No way. I'll take Shaheed 7 rounds later. Who-Dat said Olave. Yeah, you're Who-Dat, man. Of course you're going to take the Saint. Pittman all day. Yeah. So for me, it's Pittman. I'd be a little more excited. I wouldn't be surprised if Olave balls out. His rookie year, he was a league-winning wide receiver for people.
Right.
Pittman, Zach said. Oh, Olave, his rookie year too, did very, very well, man. He returned like good wide receiver 2 value.
Right.
And then Rock Out chose Pittman as well. Rhonda Commander, what's up? Welcome.
Appreciate you being here, Rhonda.
Yep.
Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This is cutting edge content.
Yep. Rhonda said Pittman, Olave overrated.
I agree with that.
Who Dat dude said, don't forget Saints have a new OC in Clint Kubiak from San Francisco. That is true.
I still don't think that's going to make Olave grow to a 6'3" dude, 200 pounds.
I think the scheming will be better. I'd be more excited to have Kamara with that scheme than Olave. Rock Out pizza sauce. That's right. We're making pizza sauce with all these tomatoes. And then Rock Out was replying to Who Dat dude. Said, but I think Carr holds Olave back. I agree 100%. If Olave's on a different team like the Chiefs or I don't know, like what team do you think Olave could excel
on?
Like
a team where he could go and play the slot.
The Texans.
Yes, Texans. Any team where he got a good quarterback and he can play the slot. I think he's the top slot wide. He will be a top slot wide receiver in the NFL.
He's a great route runner and he has phenomenal hands. Pause. Right. So I can't take those characteristics away from his game. Frankie Lofton, thank you for being here, bro. Said Lockett is washed for fantasy.
I don't know about that.
I'll be honest with you, TD. I don't think he's necessarily completely washed for fantasy. I don't know if I'd feel good about rolling Lockett out as one of my wide receivers. Like I'd feel a little sketchy about it, but
right.
I don't think he's washed as a pro. I think he could still definitely help the Seahawks win. But right. You said for fantasy, and I would agree to an extent. I like the other receivers better. And then Rockout said BT, which I think was Brian Thomas. Charlene said CMC is not a 4th quadrant player.
I don't think so. Because they don't want to run him down in the ground. They're trying to win the Super Bowl. So maybe they do hold him back a little bit in the 4th quadrant to keep him healthy.
Then who gets it? Elijah Mitchell or the rookie?
Both.
They just split the backfield.
And CMC still plays a little bit too.
Yeah. Elijah Mitchell, man, when he's healthy, he's pretty damn good, man.
Yeah, they might cut him this year. because he's been hurt so much.
Yeah. Ethan, what's up, bro? Thanks for being here. Said, I like Keon Coleman, but I like other dudes just as much, like JSN or Troy Franklin.
Right. I like Troy Franklin too, man. Troy was one of my top rookie wide receivers. I like Troy Franklin. I like Brian Thomas.
I think Troy Franklin is definitely a guy to keep your eye on early because he played with his quarterback in college. They're
Right.
on the same team now in the pros. So
Right.
they're familiar with each other's game, and like, don't be surprised if Troy Franklin is the instant wide receiver one.
Right.
Mims is there, and I know you're high on Mims.
Right.
But there's some
I like him for the
storylines.
sleeper.
Yeah,
I like
for
Mims
sure.
for the
But
sleeper.
there's some storylines with Troy Franklin and Bo Nix, so just keep your eye on that, you guys. Charlene said, I love Josh Palmer. He has the most chemistry with Herbert, and Palmer is in a contract year. I've heard other people mention that name too, TV. What do you think about Joshua Palmer?
I'm not gonna draft him. He could be the guy, but I don't know who's gonna be the guy. So I'd rather take Ladd and call it a day.
Would you rather take QJ or Joshua Palmer late?
Neither.
I don't blame you, bro.
Honestly, I'd rather take Quentin Johnson.
Yeah. In redraft, it might be safer to take Palmer, maybe. Maybe that's a story keep your eye on as Chargers camp goes on. And then Charlene said, Curtis.
Show some courtesy, Curtis.
Curtis Samuel is he's like a poor man Debo, Walmart Debo. They could scheme him as a running back. They could scheme him as a wide receiver. They could put him in the slot. I like Curtis Samuel. I liked him when he was on the Panthers. Hector A said Jaylen Warren or Jerome Ford.
I'm going with Ford.
Only because Najee is there?
Yeah, and also Ford got the backfield. I don't trust Deontay Foreman. I mean, Deontay Foreman is good, but I think Ford is going to be the starting running back for the Browns.
They brought in Foreman for a reason, and he does take away backfield carries every time he's on a team. He didn't do it too much last year, but I wouldn't be surprised if Stefanski gives him some run early, so keep an eye on that. But with Najee being in Pittsburgh, I would go with Jerome Ford as well. Zach said Aaron Jones or Najee Harris.
I would say Najee because of his ADP, and I think Najee gets the goal line green zone touches.
In an Art Smith running scheme.
Facts.
And they're going to move on from him. They're not going to commit to Najee, so they're going to run him into the ground. Pause. Right. Ethan Curry said Rico Dowdle or Tyrone Tracy. That's a good one.
I'm probably going to go with Rico because they got a better offensive line, and I don't believe Zeke is going to get all the carries, just the goal line carries. And I think Rico can end up taking over later in the season as a fourth quadrant guy. I love Tyrone Tracy. I believe he could take over too. But Devin Singletary, to me, can stay a little bit more healthy and be a little bit more consistent than Zeke. So I'm just going to go with Rico off of my chinny chin team.
I think I have Rico, and dude, I got like 5 dynasty Cowboys. Like, I need to chill on the Cowboys here. Tyrone Tracy is a rookie, you guys. He's a converted wide receiver. He has insane upside. I am high on him as well, especially in dynasty. They kept Rico. They didn't draft a running back for a reason. They brought back a familiar running back in Zeke. I would say Rico Dowdle as well. Zach said Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. That's a good question specifically this year, considering not everyone, but a vast majority of community people think the Bills will take a step back in the offensive department.
I was going with Lamar Jackson 3 years ago. I was going with Lamar Jackson last year, and I'm going with Lamar Jackson again. And Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen been killing it. He's been the number one quarterback for 3 years. But in a vacuum, in quadrants, Lamar get hot, you winning. He won me 2 or 3 championships last year because he got hot in the fourth quadrant. So I'm staying with Lamar. I think Lamar is going to throw for more passing yards than he's ever have in his whole career. So I can see Lamar going for 35 passing touchdowns and 4,000 yards passing.
I would love to draft James Cook instead of Josh Allen and then draft Lamar Jackson as my quarterback 2 rounds later.
Yep.
That's my dynasty. That was my first dynasty pick, Lamar Jackson. That's my guy, man. I'm always riding with Lamar, except last year. How many points did he score in the title week? Like 50, right? Something stupid.
The title, I don't know if it was 50, but I think he was the number 1 quarterback those 3 weeks. I don't know what he averaged. I know he played the San Francisco 49ers. He went dumb against them. So
didn't Zay Flowers have a massive game that week?
One of those weeks.
Yeah, I rolled out Zay, and that week or the week before and on, and he killed it, man. And they're only going to be better with Derrick Henry. Like, that passing game is only going to get better. Ethan said Alvin Kamara, James Cook, or Zamir White.
I'm going. People might not agree with this. I'm going with Zamir White.
Ooh. I think Zamir White lacks in the PPR department a little bit. He has the trust of his coach, and they are going to run a lot, so I can see why you would choose him. I'm probably more excited about Alvin Kamara with the new OC playing a full season with his skill set and the PPR value he returns. I would say Alvin Kamara.
Okay. I respect that. The PPR upside is crazy.
It's nuts, man. Like, they were targeting him 12 times a game at point in the season, back-to-back games. They were giving him over 10 targets through the air. So I'm not expecting that again this year. But, like, with that scheme, that San Francisco running scheme that's going to New Orleans with that guy, yeah, man, for sure. Charlene said Atlanta will unleash Bijan this season. Watch out. I want to see 2,000 yards and 16 to 20 touchdowns.
I don't know if I'm gonna see that. I don't know if we'll see that, but I know he's gonna be a top 5 running back, and that's all I care about. Just be top 5. I'm good. Whatever happens after that.
All right, I'll scale it back. 1,800 all-purpose yards.
Yeah,
and
I think he can do that.
16 to 20 touchdowns.
I think he can do that.
I do too, man. Zach said Zamir White and Ramondre Steven, great ADP value for running back. I agree. That'd be a great running back core with a 0 RB approach. I'd feel just fine rolling those 2 dudes out every week.
Yes.
No problem. Good job, Zach. Ethan said, I think the Patriots players this year are going to be the most unpredictable since Belichick left, but I think Grandy a safe pick. Grandy.
I don't know who that
is. I think he means Ramondre.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I like Ramondre because they got a rookie quarterback. They got young quarterbacks, and also like Demario Douglas. And the rest of the guys, I think you just kind of got to stash them, and they're going to be the waiver wire guys that's going to win you championships this year. It's going to be the Patriots, whoever break out, outside of Ramondre.
And then you like Demario Douglas as well, right?
Right.
Yep. Isaac said, yeah, so Ethan just confirmed he meant Ramondre. All right, thank you, Ethan. Isaac said, I'm like what Steve Smith Jr. said. Ice. He's ice. You see that?
Right. Yeah. I'm like,
ice up, son.
Right. Ice him up, son.
I speak emoji, so I know exactly what he's saying. He's saying
right.
ice up, son. That's right, Isaac. You like Singletary cheap at ADP? I do.
Yes, I want to get him and Tyrone Tracy together. I want to squeeze that pause.
And then Zach confirmed what I was asking. Lamar got 48 points in the fantasy title game last year. Yeah, man. So, like, in my dynasty league, I was going through his game logs, just kind of seeing what he was doing. And in my league, I think it was 54 points in the title game through the air.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Not with his legs. Give me that vintage Lamar, like the one we saw at Louisville, man, just slinging that rock.
Right.
Cooper Kupp or Devontae Adams? It's a good one.
I'm probably going Devontae. Off the hair off of my chinny chin chin, so it's very, very close.
I don't see why you can't take both.
You can get both.
You can get Devontae in the second. I don't think a lot of people are gonna be excited to take Adams in the second.
Right.
But he's a hyper targeted wide receiver, and they're gonna need him to be competitive in the games with that elite run game and the good defense. So I see a scenario where you could take Devontae in the second and then take Cooper in the third if you wanted.
Right. But if I had to choose, I'm going with Devontae. A lot of people are scared of Devontae, but he is an alpha guy who's going to get hyper targeted. Even though it's a run first offense, I still like Devontae.
I think maybe a lot of play action for Adams this year.
Right.
Then Ethan said, I think Jonathan Taylor, the most overpriced player in the draft, because he has a QB that might run better. I disagree with you, Ethan.
Yeah, because I think he had a shoulder injury. Now he will run the ball, but I think they paid Jonathan Taylor, so they're gonna run him in the ground. Pause.
And he has. I was actually talking with TD about this. The backup there is Trey Sermon. And he came back last year and did okay. Like, he did okay late in the season when he came back. That's a 2,000-yard, 20-touchdown guy.
Right.
And if that quarterback stays healthy or gets injured, who's their backup, TD? Who's the backup quarterback?
Joe Flacco.
JT will do just fine with Joe Flacco.
Right.
And so would Pittman. So, like what Ethan's saying, the guy for me that I would put there, you're going to hate me for this, is Saquon. I'd rather have JT over Saquon.
I respect that. I wouldn't. I'm going with Saquon. I trust Jalen Hurts. I trust Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and the Eagles. And all Saquon got to do is just be Saquon. Saquon could have a tremendous year. This might be the best team that he's playing on his whole career.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I'm worried about Hurts retaining a lot of goal line, like more than people are thinking. I do think Saquon will have a way better PPR season because I think they're going to pass a lot with Kellen Moore. And I think that's where me and you disagree a bit. You think they're going to run it more. I think they're going to actually pass it a little more. So we'll see what happens, bro.
Right.
And then Ethan said, I ain't touching JT before Saquon, so he agrees with you or other guys like Devin Etienne. And I ain't going to hate Ethan. Like, it's a perspective thing, man. And, like, all these guys have balled out before. Some have had injuries, but every player who steps on the field can get injured. So that's just part of the game.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if JT doesn't have a good year and Saquon has the best year of his career this year. I wouldn't be surprised at that. And then Zach said JT is injury prone as well. He is, but I agree with you, Harambe. And then Ethan said, Harambe, speaking truth, I just can't take JT over those guys below him. Because man, like Ethan, you see the upside and like, we do too. Like A-Chain is a second round pick to me. I'd feel safer taking JT. I know that sounds weird to people. I think in some leagues you could probably get A-Chain in the third.
I think that's going to change, but right now you can't. I think A-Chain going to start going in the early second by the time the season starts. But yeah, I'm willing to fade. The reason why I'm not getting JT a lot because I'm waiting. I'm taking Saquon in the early second, and then I'm also getting A-Chain at the end of the second. So I can't get JT because JT is going in the middle of the second round, so I can't get him.
If it was a scenario where I'm drafting and like the guys that Ethan and Zach are talking about, like Saquon, A-Chain, if those guys are gone, if Henry's gone and whatever, and JT makes it to me in the second, I'd feel just fine drafting Jonathan Taylor.
Right. Isaac says JT to me has talent, but can be a disappointment. I agree. I think he's gonna be good while he's out there and while he's balling. But I just want a little bit more upside. I don't know, man. JT can ball out. I don't think you're gonna be wrong for getting JT. Just make sure you stack him with the right type of build. You want to build correctly with him.
Again, like I'm confident in my drafting skills. So if I miss on a JT in the second, I know I'll be fine with like the running backs I take later. I'm not worried about it.
Right. Zach says rather have Etienne than JT because Etienne also is on a better team. Facts.
He is.
Better offense.
He is.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all for tuning in for another Fantasy Football After Dark. Guys, tomorrow, make sure you tune in. I'm going to be at my new setup at my new house, and I'm going to be doing my mock draft. So tune in. Tomorrow, we're giving away $10 for whoever has the best mock. Also, make sure you're a member because that's the only way you're going to be able to get into the mock draft. But I will let people come up if we need a couple spots filled. Also, you can jump in the mock draft if you just super chat. So super chat can get you in there with a $5 plus give. You can get in the mock. So guys, make sure you tune in. Gonna be doing a lot of content, guys. Got a lot of stuff coming for the Discords. I got my not my mock drafts, but my listener leagues coming up, and that's gonna be awesome. So you want to get in there. You want to play against guys like me, beat me, humble me. Big guys like Harambe, he's in a couple of leagues that we're gonna be doing together. Real quick, he just says I would also probably take Henry over JT or get a stud wide receiver like Adams or London. It just depends my build. I could take JT over Adams, especially over London, but Adams it just depends on my build.
Yeah. I got Henry over JT all day. Like, if I can't get those running backs that you guys were talking about a few minutes ago and JT falls to me and Adams or London are there, yeah, I'm taking JT. It's not even a question for me.
Right. And Isaac said Saquon would be just another Swift, but a little better. More than a little better. He would be a whole step up. If DeAndre Swift was a B minus, Saquon would be an A minus. That's what I said. He's gonna be a whole letter grade better than whatever Swift was. And Ethan, real quick, it ain't gonna be nothing in the backdrop yet, but it's coming. I'm gonna have a little bit. I'm gonna put up some of my trophies in the background. I got a basketball trophy. Also, I'm thinking about doing a plaque for guys that I helped win championships for. And so I'm gonna kind of, this part of my content. So I'm gonna start posting that on like a plaque. So
yeah,
guys, if you have any opinions, any suggestions, just put it in the comment section and let me know.
That's a cool idea.
Right. Thank you, bro. Yeah. Ethan says Swift can't squat what Saquon can squat. Right. Facts. All right, guys, y'all be safe. Anything you want to say around me before we get out here?
Thanks for letting me co-host. As always, man, it's appreciated. I appreciate all you guys, all the chats, everything. Check out my channel, Harambe's World. So I just started it on Thursday. I have a few shorts up, but I'm going to be doing shorts. I'm going to be doing fantasy content. I'll be doing cross content on my channel with TD as well. Yes, sir. So go find it. It's just called Harambe's World. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, TD.
Yep. Guys, y'all be safe. Peace.